Water is scarce and it's getting worse, but some are saying a lot of our problems are man-made because of the policies in Washington. For instance, the battle between farmers and fish in Central Valley, California over pumps being shut off to protect a 3-inch smelt fish has left 40,000 farmers out of work and forcing their businesses to go bankrupt. One of the most vocal supporters of the farmers is California Congressman Devin Nunes, who has been fighting Congress on the issue for years. Take a look at this from the stimulus debate.
This is pathetic. You're spending $1 trillion, and you won't put in one provision that would save 60,000 jobs. This is an insult to my constituents, an absolute insult.
The congressman, who's also the author of the book Restoring Our Republic, joins me now from Fresno, California, along with Piedad Ayala, a farmer there who's been devastated by this man-made drought, environmentalist Alexandra Cousteau, and Dr. Peter Glick from the Pacific Institute. I'm going to start with you, Congressman. You're vocal. You're mad. Are they hearing you in Washington?
Well, watching your last segment or hearing it, we're not worried about terrorists. We're worried about our own government, where the government has literally shut off water to parts of this region where I live and where I grew up, and it's absolutely awful. I mean, you see tens of thousands of people who have been put out of work, and still today we have people out of work. It's the government doing it. It's not that we don't have enough water.
Piedad, I've seen you speak a couple of times. I got to be honest with you, you're passionate. You're involved, though. You know people, or you've lost your job, you've lost your farm. What's going on?
Well, we have to be involved. The rest of my life I spent being involved in the production, growing some of those crops. So a lot of those crops they were growing here in our valley. In the last few years, we've been doing another job that we never did before, organizing people, doing marches, doing rallies, and proving to people that we not doing anything wrong. We dedicate our lives to work. When we have When they turn the pumps off, they kill totally our agricultural industry, and they're killing the economy, and they're destroying a lot of families here in our valley. We work so hard.
Jobs, Piedad. Let me cut you off there. I hate to do that. I'm sorry. We have a lot of people to get to. I want to go to Alexandra Cousteau, granddaughter of Jacques Cousteau. Are you okay with this? I mean, they're literally taking the water that these farmers need to provide a lot of the food that we all eat, and they're diverting it so they can save a 3-inch delta smelt.
Well, my heart goes out to anybody who is dealing with the kind of difficulties and hardship that the farmers are dealing with now. But I think we need to have a conversation amongst all stakeholders about how we maintain the balance of our water systems. It's something we haven't done a good job of, and it's part of what's led us to the situation we're in today. I really don't think the conversation or the debate needs to be only about fish and farmers. I think it needs to be about the systems that maintain the water resources we need for agriculture, for our cities, for industry, and for the environment.
Alexandra, I agree with you 100%. However, here's a case where there are 40,000 farmers who are now out of work, losing their farms because of this delta smelt. Is that the right policy we should have?
Again, it needs to be a conversation that goes beyond the fish. The fish, we can't divert all of our water only for agriculture. Like, we can't do it only for cities or only for fish.
All right, hang in there, Alexandra. I apologize. I want to get to Dr. Glick. Dr. Glick, am I wrong? Am I simplifying this argument too much? Alexandra said it's not just about the farmers and the fish, but in this case it is. It's either the farmers or the fish are going to get the water.
Well, there's been a lot of political theater about fish versus farms, but it's not fish versus farms. It's got to be fish and farms. We haven't lost 40,000 jobs because of drought and because of water cutoffs. Those numbers are grossly inflated. But there have been impacts of natural drought and the fact that we really now have to balance the environment and cities and agriculture. You know what? It's not just the 3-inch fish either. The salmon industry has been devastated by deliveries of excessive water to farmers. We've lost thousands of jobs for them as well.
Representative, the doctor tells us it's not about that. You have your numbers all wrong and you're grossly over-exaggerating. Are you, Representative?
Well, let me tell you this. People that live in Hollywood and San Francisco are really quick to claim a lot of things, but at one point they drove through this valley. They decided they didn't like cows and they didn't like dust, and they have their green socialist utopian views. And the reality of it is we have pockets of unemployment in this valley ranging from 20 to 40%. So these people are lunatics. They don't deserve to be listened to. And if you look at Senator Boxer, Senator Pelosi, or Congressman Pelosi, they continue to shut this area off while their areas where they live have water.
Congressman, real quick, I'm going to throw it around the panel quickly. Nick, you were with the EPA for a while. Help us real quickly, if you don't mind, summarize this, if you will.
Well, I'm a water resource planner, and this is the most difficult part because some have a lot of water, some don't, and that's always the shifting. But this is really the Endangered Species Act. It's an interpretation of that act. I think that's what the congressman wanted to amend, and they wouldn't let him.
And what about it, Howard?
Well,
I agree with Nick, by the way.
You know, I mean, there is a reason why we did put the Endangered Species Act into play in 1972.
What is it?
You know, I mean, there is an impact that
you know what's an endangered species right now, Howard?
What's that?
Farmers in Central Valley, California. They're on the endangered species list. And I frankly would rather protect them than the fish. What about you, Lenny?
Look, joblessness is the plague upon America right now. We have almost 35 million Americans that are not working full-time as they need to be. Right now, we need to keep people employed in this country as the #1 issue. We need to balance the environment and other things, but we can't take people out of work in this country.
Last word, sir, just a few seconds, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to balance healthy agriculture, healthy environment, healthy cities, and that's always been the challenge with Western water, and we're not very good at it.
No,
We
I
have to
want
get a lot
Piedad.
better
I
in
want to
coming
hear from
years.
Piedad, my farmer, before we go.
Well, if we want to bring the jobs back to our valley, all we need to do is very simple: turn the pumps on, and we can go back to work. When some of these people, they don't understand that we got in these communities that we got over 40% unemployment. That's what these people need to look at. We talking about jobs. We need to say that we're saying that we don't want for our jobs to go to different countries. That's where we need to work, and we need to keep the jobs that we have here.
All right.
And it's a simple way. Turn the pumps on, and we don't have to be standing up in the full lines. Something that our people don't like to do, and that we don't want to do that. We're going to be in the line for work.
We're going to have to leave it there.